Really hard-fought win for us. I know that was our 9th game in 20 days, I think. Does that sound right, or 22 days? I think whatever it is. It's a blur without a day off, but it was tough in the fact they didn't have Deshaun Davis and Alatish, and explained to our guys that I still think they're similar to what we played the other night, because I know I saw Dexter Cano play in high school a lot, recruited him, and knew he's a pretty good player. And then it just opened up some more room for Rand to play. But I knew their depth would obviously, they only play 6, but credit to them, they played their butt off and played really well, I thought. And we were able to prevail, made some big plays, and with TJ Bamba really came off the bench and gave us a tremendous game.
Colin Clark, go ahead.
How much does it change the identity of that team without Deshaun Davis in there?
I don't think not as much as people would think, just because I think Akano's a good player. But Davis definitely dances in the middle of the floor with the ball screen. And we spent, I don't know, one whole practice preparing for him. So just because if you don't deal with that, and I think we're going to be better. But they did go away from their middle ball screen actions as much. They didn't do it as much with Akano. But they got a nice, Lucas and Taylor are good players, and I thought we did a really good job on Jared. And he's a shot maker and got a lot of confidence, and we were able to he played all 40 minutes, and I thought we held the 3 for 10. That was terrific.
How much could you sense fatigue in them as the game wore on, or did they seem
had
to
some moments, but I thought they defended us. I knew they would probably show zone and match up. They had a lot of success with that last year when they made their run, and we struggled with it a little bit, and then we had a little success, and Bamba hit a big 3 that kind of took it from 4 to 7, I think, and it was just one of those games, and they were big around the rim. We struggled to finish around the rim, but we hung on the ball. We didn't turn it over much, and now just like Mike Flowers, that's just his line now. It's great. 6 for 12, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. He's been a really, really, really good player for us down the stretch.
Sort of same question for you guys, though. Whatever you said, 9 games in 20 days or whatever it was. Could you sense a little? And I know the last couple of days you talked about were more devoted on resting, but do you feel like you accomplished that, or do you see some more of that?
No, I think we're tired. I can't lie. I think it was tough. We got in 3:30 in the morning after the game Monday, and I usually gauge my fatigue level, and I don't have to go to class. and I was like, ugh, it's just your whole week's thrown off. You don't get your day off. You're on the road. You come back 3:30 in the morning Tuesday. So I'm just hoping we got the win. Maybe that usually lifts your spirits, and we can go Saturday and give a great effort Saturday at 1.
And you just kind of talk about the lift TJ Bamba gave you guys, and kind of developing into that kind of a scorer too.
Yeah, no, he's one of our hardest work, probably the hardest worker. Cares so much, and just in the whole, you'll know how your guys are going to be in your program just by the way you recruit them. And he always followed up on everything he said. He did. There's no promises. There's no people to deal with. He's kind of a man. He's just kind of a very mature person. Anyone that's got to know him, he's been great. And it's just kind of he's a big process guy. So he's just been putting the time in. He studies it. He works at it. And to see that guy have a game like that, it's a guy you want to root for. And I'm a big, he's from New York, but he's also Senegalese, and so is Mohammed. And I had another great player from Colombia, Model Low, who was Senegalese German. I'll take all Senegalese guys. They're great attitudes. It's just really wonderful. I don't know if that's all, but those 3 guys I've coached have been just kind of the same makeup. They're really willing to do whatever it takes to win, whatever it takes to improve, and really thrilled with TJ.
Did you sense that, maybe the guys got in their heads a little bit that, they're playing a shorthanded team and they press a little bit because of that, you think?
We soften up. We've had this issue all season. You've seen a lot of these games cold. And it really started, we go up 7-0. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then we take we gamble in transition D, and we leave Lucas, and now it's 7-3. And then it was 25-16, so I had to I said, fellas, we're up 7-0. We've been outscored 25-9 since, and that's disappointing because that stretch shouldn't have happened. So whatever reason, we were able to scrap our way back in there and made it really tough, which somewhat to be expected as a Pac-12 game. And again, I remind people if I have 3 guys that were in the Final 8 last year, looking at the Final 4, tied with Houston in the second half. So they're fine on their belief in their talent. I can't figure out the 3-win deal, but no surprise. In this time of year, you'll see some funny scores. Saw Nebraska drilled Ohio State. It's just trying to get your mindset and compete hard.
So TJ and FA were in here earlier, and we were talking to them about closing out games, and they mentioned the USC game kind of after that. It kind of was a turning point where everyone kind of said, all right, we're done with this. We're going to start closing out games. Was there anybody in particular that kind of stepped up and said, all right, after this game, we're not doing this anymore?
Which USC game?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. We had 2 of them that went down the wire. No, I think Bamba really took it upon himself. He's a guy that made, like I said, made big shots. He was not afraid, and we got up 11 there, and we had 1 miscommunication. Then it was 8, and then we had a 94-foot foul somewhere in there, and it's like, and we tightened up a little bit. We didn't break, and our zone was good for us in those situations too. So we've got a little more. We've had experience in doing that. We've won some closer games. Maybe should have let them make that basket so we could have a 1-possession win at the end. That would have been, but I'm fine with that.
You kind of mentioned, though, but what kind of challenges? Obviously, it's an advantage with them having a couple guys out, but you're preparing to see Altisha and Davis all week. Did that throw them off?
I think it always does. We have that happen. We've had it a couple times where you're like, oh, he's out today, and you're like, we didn't play well, or it's just tough. But like I said, I tried to explain to them. I was like, hey, their depth is we got to get on the glass. But they rebounded. They were physical with us, and we didn't exploit that part. I didn't feel like we really exploited them on there. Should have been able to get them in foul trouble or whatever. But they competed hard. I had 2 guys play 40 minutes, didn't come out.
Dylan from Coug Fan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned the little streak that you guys made down 25-16 after, OSU kind of punched you back. TJ was kind of the lead in that. He had, 7 points during that final 7 minutes. And then he had, obviously the big 3 to kind of give you guys that 3-possession cushion. So he had 2 different, spurts. Was this his best game as a Coug, in your opinion?
You know what? Yeah, I'd say so. I think it was his best Pac-12 game. He's had some other good games, but just when we needed him to be his best, he was tonight, and he's a tough nut.
One of the question marks with Mike Flowers from, national pundits coming in when you guys, received his transfer was his defense. And he talked about it with him and Tyrell throughout the season. I don't think a lot of people realize, the type of big shots that Jared Lucas has made over his career. And just talk about the work that those 2 combined did on Jared tonight.
You know what? Really, Noah gets a lot of the credit on Lucas, and Ty started on the ball. Flowers was matched up with Taylor, but Mike has done such a good job. And I thought I told the team in the locker room, one of the biggest plays was a really winning play. They had a 2-on-1. I think it was Taylor and Akano, and Mike was trailing play. He ran it down. He stole it, and he kind of fell out of bounds. But it would have been easy for him not to pump the brakes there and let him get a layup, and he would have done that 3 months ago. But he's really rounded into a two-way player. He still works hard at the defense. He can keep a guy in front, and he's just become very efficient. He plays like a point guard too. I just think people that I didn't know how it was going to turn out, because if you watched him play at South Alabama or even Western Michigan, I mean, he still likes to shoot, and but he turned the ball over more. He turns the ball over less at a higher level. He's making better decisions. He's got a good poise about him. So, we'd like to see him just kind of kick this into Saturday and then on in the postseason.
Do you feel like your defense in certain spurts tonight was, excellent? Because it seemed like quite often during your guys' runs, your defense was creating, easy baskets at the end.
Yeah, I think FA was really electric tonight and really wiped some layups off there that turned into transition opportunities. And, and shoot, we talk about Mike Ty. Ty struggled first half. He's 0 for 7 from the field. Got his, was hurting a little bit, and he really played a good second half. And we were worried about him because he's a small stature, but and wasn't asked to guard at UC San Diego much because he was scoring 20 a game. He's become a really good defender. He really does a good job. And it was our defense that did have to step up there in the second half.